So if we can draw together, become neutral in the present moment, and go beyond into oneness, into one who we truly are, then you can find freedom. This is here for you and anyone listening. It's who you are. It's your intrinsic true nature. So it's not like, oh well, I'm special, I didn't experience, isn't that great? No, it's you.
I'm very happy to have Marianne McGuire with me today. Marianne has had a lifetime of spiritual experiences, and she is here to share some of her unique experiences with us today. Marianne, thank you for being my guest. I'm excited about our conversation.
Thank you so much for having me, Tia. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here with you and your beautiful audience.
Well, tell me how this all got started for you.
Well, I may as well start from the beginning. Um, I never, I love being on shows like this because you can't normally start with a sentence like this. But I never fully forgot where I came from before I came into the physical. And I have a gift for seeing people for who they really are, the beauty of who they really are beyond their conditioning because of this. And I nearly died when I was a baby. I was born blue, and my mother was unconscious. I was unconscious, had to get a needle or a drip at the top of my head. My mother told me later on because it left a mark there for a very long period of time. And I had this awareness. So I actually remember I've experiences of being a baby. Like I remember being about 11 months old and standing in my cot and being awareness. So it felt the same as I am now, the same awareness, but without the layers of conditioning that have accumulated. So then when I was about 6 years of age, I had one of these experiences really stood out. It was a very beautiful, profound spiritual experience. And I was standing in the kitchen of my childhood home on my own, and there appeared something that flowed above me, and it was within me and without. And I had, even at that young age, access to all of consciousness. And I was aware of what I call now, because I have to package it in something. I just call it seven codes because I have to package it in some way and articulate it in some way. But at that age, I had no words for it. And I was aware of certain things, and it's like they unfurled within me. So, for example, it was like how life worked and the nature of time. Like I knew that linear time didn't exist and that it was the past and the future was all part of one eternal moment. Now that I come to think of it, that was the first painting because I was an artist, and that was the first painting I ever sold. I called it One Eternal Moment because I just did the thing to um, try to share what I knew, that, and the power is in the present moment of now. Um, I knew that this reality was like there was something so inexplicably beautiful, even beyond our idea of heaven, and that this reality was only the tiniest part of what is true. And that's why I know the importance of focusing on who you really are and not on the struggle and not on this 3D reality is the key to a happy life, to put it in a nutshell. Like I know this. Um, I also knew beyond duality lies freedom. I knew that beyond duality there was oneness. And later on, as it unfurled more, as um, I couldn't have articulated this at that age. I was very young. So it was only later that this experience was clothed in words. And I actually asked my guides one day because I was like, this is pretty unusual. Like I was so young. How did I know about concepts? Like I wanted to know concepts like duality and pretty deep concepts. And I received the answer, which was my ageless being, the child that I was bore witness to my ageless being receiving this information from source. So that's how I knew. I never forgot. And I cherish this now because I cherish the fact that I still remember, because it's facilitating my mission to nudge people into the remembrance of the magnificence of who they really are. So I'm really cherish it. Beyond duality lies freedom. I later on, as I say, when the deeper understanding unfurled and I went through my own, fair amount of trauma, I realized that you could, and I know this sounds abstract, but the universe is abstract and the universe is full of paradoxes, and I'm in love with paradox and I'm in love with the abstract. There's nothing I can do about that. But you can kind of take the energy of the struggle or what you're going through and draw. If you can accept and be comfortable with both expressions of it, both like by duality in this 3D realm, it's like, hot, cold, up, down, to be, not to be, the choice, do we be ourselves or do we be our conditioned selves? It's all these, but they're all different degrees of expression of the one thing. So if we can draw together, become neutral in the present moment and go beyond into oneness, into one who we truly are, then you can find freedom. It's doable. I've done it, and it's had a huge effect in my life and the lives of others. So like when the experience was over, and of course it's never over, it's here for me, it's here for you. This isn't like I'm special or anything. I really want to get the point across. This is here for you and anyone listening. It's who you are. It's your intrinsic true nature. So it's not like, oh, well, I'm special, I didn't experience, isn't that great? No, it's you. Okay, it's for everybody listening and beyond, obviously. So and that happened. I was a young child. This experience, it was like the cosmos or something. It was like, but beyond the cosmos, it was like I could tell that the cosmos was I knew that this physical reality was a projection coming from what is true, which is awareness, which is love, which is source. Like I knew that. I was given that information, so to speak, that this reality where we live our everyday lives, and I'm saying this with full respect, is a dream. And is somewhat illusory. It's a type of illusion. That being said, we honor this. It's beautiful. It's all part of the grand design, and it's all happening as like it's all spiritual. It's not like we're here in the 3D squished into this body and it's a complete pain in the backside. Like I know it is at times, but it's all part of it, Um, so the funny thing was it felt very familiar. It felt very familiar to me even back then. It was like, this is normal. This is who we are. So that veil, that veil of forgetfulness that didn't take fully with me, and because I still remember, the deeper I went, it was like, this is very familiar. And that's what happens with people when they tune into it through meditation or whatever. They realize, my God, this is me. This is really familiar. How beautiful and how wonderful. Um, so later, like this all of this information, as I say, I was able to express it, and it presented itself again and unfurled is the only way I can put it, so that I'm going to say we can fulfill our purpose. Not just me, but we're part of this. It's like a soul group, um, expressing ourselves in this awakening that's happening now. Because I knew, like, I'm really excited about what's going on, because for many, 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 many years, like up until just a couple of years ago, it was kind of isolating, because you couldn't really, well, I'll speak for myself. I couldn't really talk about this to people because, it wasn't really normal. It wasn't seen as normal. But now, like every other person knows about meditation, and you can talk about this because there is definitely awakening happening, which is, I know it's meant to be. Part of what I received was I have this vision for humanity, which I'm very excited about because it's so positive. Like I know I have a really positive, I'm like I'm a vision holder, and I ground that. And it's just very exciting for me because I know people can get very uh, it can be a bit depressing when you look out there, but I know it's all going to work out fine. I have a really positive vision for humanity. So similar experiences happened to me throughout my childhood, and so oneness wasn't a concept for me. It was a very real foundation for my life, which I think that's part of the reason why I'm here, to help people realize, oh, this is real. Like, it's not a concept, it's real, which is, it's kind of mind blowing, because we only see like 1% or something of the visible light spectrum. There's so much we don't see. There is beauty and mystery everywhere. Everything is a miracle. Unless, of course, you're so powerful and you make the choice to see that nothing's a miracle. And then nothing will be a miracle. But as far as I'm concerned, everything is a miracle, you know? So, in contrast to that beautiful, expansive um, uh, experience and knowing within me, I had kind of a difficult childhood. There was a lot of fear. It felt very contracted. It was very boxed in. I had a dominant father. I My family were kind of, you know, different to me. I wasn't received, and I loved them dearly. So it was very difficult. The whole thing. There was a lot of fear. Like, I wasn't allowed to express myself at all or have any kind of power. And anytime I use the word power, I mean power from love, not and never power over. It's, true power is what I mean. Um, like that came up a few times in meditation, and it was kind for example, like, I remember we were in another house, and I was used to a gas stove, and that was an electric stove, and I wasn't used to it. You know the rings that go red? Well, one had just been turned off, and so it was black, and I didn't know what it was. So I leaned down on it, and my hand stuck to it. But my absolute first, I just had this memory. My first instinct was to muffle it and go off and deal with it, because, oh my God, I didn't want to put anybody out, or there was no expression. Do you know what I mean? It was like, I don't want to disturb anyone. I don't want to. It was that I was that kind of a child. Um, and like, my sibling got a horse and then another horse, and I wouldn't have dared to ask for a goldfish. So I was that kind of a child. I was very, very out, very wanting to make sure everybody was happy. And so it's good to be aware of that now, if especially women do that. I would really suggest turn some of that love back on yourself, because we tend to project a lot of love onto other people who may not, like, they mean a lot to us, but we don't mean much to them. So a lot of people, but especially women, would really serve them well to turn some of that love back on themselves. Um, so with that kind of childhood, the only way I can put it is I suspended my power to play the game, albeit a heavy game. So then in my late teens, I wanted to feel a more immediate connection with spirit, because I missed it. Like, I missed what I had felt when I was smaller, this connection with the divine. And because I could always see conditioning. I could, it's hard to explain. I could see it and I wouldn't accept a lot of it. I was aware I could see. It's hard. Like, I was conditioned by my father, but like, there was an example, just one popped into my mind. I remember being really young and him holding me by the arm and staring at me intently. And I had just expressed a little opinion. I was really small, to my older brother, and that was not allowed. And he said, if you are younger, anybody older than you, if they say that lamp is black, the lamp was cream. If they say that lamp is black, you agree and you say that lamp is black. And like, in my tiny little body, I knew that was just not logical, and it made absolutely no sense to me. But I played the game and I nodded because I was scared of him. So I nodded and, oh yes, in agreement. But I could see that a lot of the conditioning didn't stick, because I could see through it even at a really young age. So I wanted to get back to that. I wanted to get back to what I knew, because it felt indescribably good, and peaceful and just profoundly beautiful, because it was my true state of being. It is our true state of being. And there was this light that existed there within and without. I missed it, you know, I was kind of homesick for that place. Of course, it isn't a place, it's the state of our true nature. And I wanted, I remember I wanted to be a healer when I was about 19. I'm telling my mother, she's just looking at me. You know, she was like, healer, okay. And I studied a lot about healing. I did many different modalities. I was utterly captivated by that. And at the same time, at age 18, actually, I went into art. So all along, I remember I became a painter. I uh, managed a fine art gallery. I studied fine art auctioneering, and I studied history of art. And I remember painting. I was always painting the light and searching. I was looking for that connection with my creator, and also with my own true being. And I still felt lost. Like, it sounds very organized. Oh, all those things, you know. I didn't know. Don't think I really knew what I was doing, but I didn't realize then I was on my path all along. Like, I didn't realize it. Back then, I was like young, 18, 19, 20, you know, no experience. You know, I had to go through a couple of decades more. So, oh my God, the pressure I put on myself to find my path. I can't even tell you. Am I on my path? Am I on my path? It was everything to me. My path, my path, my path. Oh my God, I was on it all along. I just didn't know, which is the case for many people, which is kind of hilarious and kind of heartbreaking as well. So I spent the next 20 years searching for what I thought I had lost. It's never lost. Anybody listening right now, it's never lost. It may be buried under a few layers of conditioning, but it's never lost, because you can't lose yourself, because it's who you are. So one day I remember something building within me, and it was this very specific energy, and I just stopped. Like, it was, oh my God, after 20 years, like. And I asked this question of my guides and my higher self, after 20 years of searching and studying and everything I have discovered, what is the most important thing we can do to find what we're looking for? And out of the sea of awareness, the answer came: let go of struggle and know who you really are. And in that moment, the way that I was to use my childhood experience was born. And over a period of 2 months, I downloaded what is now my 3 Stages of Awareness program. And it was quite remarkable the way it happened. I wrote it, I was just driven. I can't explain it. I was just driven to write it all down. And in my studio, I have this big glass wall. And I taped them all up, all these pages, and then, like a jigsaw, I was like, okay, put that there, that there, that there, all the information. And then I was like, oh my God, look how these fit to that paragraph. And they were all A4 pages. Like, it was mind-blowingly so delicious. It was amazing. Like, I knew it was meant to be, and it turned into this program. It was absolutely amazing. But I couldn't just go, oh yay, everyone, I have a program. I had to embody it first. I had to embody it fully, within myself. So I used the information to go from moving from this fear and this like cement-like struggle to this expansive excitement and joy. And I was given a way to instantly deal with challenges, which is my Becoming Aware listening practice. And I used it, and I used it in really practical ways. And it was absolutely incredible. Like, to give you an example, I'm very practical and grounded, even though I live kind of up there. I'm also feet firmly planted on the ground. I can't think of any more practical example than childbirth. I went from feeling terrified of childbirth to the point of phobia because, God bless her, my mother, not judging her in any way, but constant horror stories of how awful it was, how awful, awful, awful. And I was to the point of phobia. Like, because I knew I wanted to have children, but this was freaking me out. So there I was with the test stick positive. And in that moment, looking at it, I was profoundly grateful. I was so privileged. My God, this miracle. And at the very same time, though, the back of my mind, I'm like, oh. But then this rather logical thought came up. 9 months. I can't extend this. I can't put it off. I can't just say, oh, well, maybe 2 years. 9 months. I have 9 months. I have to change this because there was no way I was going to allow this energy to be absorbed by my baby because even in the womb, they absorb what the mother is thinking. So I made what I call now a pure choice. And I went using the information that I received from being absolutely terrified of childbirth to having a pain-free, drug-free, natural home birth twice. And it was blissful. And it was wonderful. Like stuff happened, but it was amazing. And I was really practical about it. Like I rented a place beside a hospital and all that, and they visited in the ambulance just to know where it was. And I did all the practical things, knew I wouldn't need it. I knew I wouldn't need any of those precautions. I just knew it, and I didn't. So much so I remember the midwife, I remember ringing the midwife saying, could you come? Because I'm having a baby. And she said, no, you're not. I'm like, no, I'm having a baby. And she said, let me hear the contraction. So I was just, breathing away. She says, no, you're not. You're too calm. She wouldn't believe me. She wasn't going to come. And I was like, because I was using the knowing that I received. Because when you tap into who you really are and you surrender, you can just live the way you're supposed to live, without all the drama and everything. And I think she was expecting loads of drama, whatever. Eventually she came and it all worked out. But sweet relief. It was absolutely beautiful. And one of the talking of surrender, one of the most beautiful gifts that came out of that was called fallback. And it was like a divine, it's just one of the most special things that has ever been shown to me. It's my absolute honor to share it with people now. It was a divine surrender where because I was going through a lot. I won't go into it, but it was like a lot going on, very painful stuff. And when you kind of have your back against the wall, it doesn't have to be like this, by the way. You do not have to learn through. You do learn through suffering, but especially now with what's happening now, it's not necessary. It is not necessary to learn through suffering. But I was in that situation, and I was guided to the words "fall back" came to me, and this divine surrender came over me, and I fell back into the embrace of truth. I fell back into who I really was. I melted into my own being. I fell back into the arms of love. I fell back home. And it was more profound than I can express. It's a place or a state where you connect with your creator and you receive clarity, and it's so expansive. And this is what I mean. You're living from the truth of who you really are. This is the truth of who we are. You, anybody listening, this is our truth, this profound beauty, this innate, scintillating peace, this joy, this access to everything. Oh my, it's like, it's who we are. Like, this is our truth, not the 3D struggle that we put way too much attention and focus on. We've all been there, like me too. So this was absolutely beautiful. This divine surrender helped me go like with this, it was so profound. I found what I'd been looking for, by the way, for all these years. Because sometimes we can seek too much, and the very seeking it in and of itself can get in the way of it. Can be a little bit of a spiritual, it's a trap that spiritual people fall into. It's like it's out there at arm's reach, outside. Fulfillment can't be found outside of you. It is within. And so I went from, after finding what I was looking for, after years of climbing to find the answers, I found what I was looking for. And this surrender into presence, this surrender into peace, into myself, because we are one with source, was just so completely profound. And so I went from being unable to express myself or have any power to being able to express myself. I mean, expressionist, artist, writer, speaker, um, standing in my power and then helping other people to do the same. It's completely delicious. And it's so exciting to work with people so that they too can find their deeper destiny. And deeper destiny is the extended state of fallback. And it's completely beautiful and completely delicious. And it's here for everybody. As I say, I don't for a moment want to talk about this as if it's something that happened to me. This, and people know that it's in their hearts, but too often we focus outside of ourselves, and we can come back and we can surrender and just let go of all the baggage that we're carrying around constantly. Allow what needs to arise to arise. And this can be the door that opens the way through divine surrender and through being your joyful self. This can be the door to living from who you really are. So that might give you a little taste of my work and what I do and why I'm so excited to share it. I hope I'm making it clear. I know it's kind of abstract to you.
It is a little abstract, but I believe, like you said,
Mm.
spirituality is abstract. And I think we have to speak in almost like symbolic language to
Yeah,
get ideas across.
yeah, it's just the way it is. But very often it's an energy transmission. Anyway, it's not even the words. It's like a transmission of energy, and people get what they need to get to open up and receive.
And you, in your work, use your intuition.
Yes,
What makes intuition so important to you?
I can't imagine living my life without accessing my intuition. It's so completely necessary, and it just makes for a completely delicious life. So intuition, for a start, is, I suppose, how I describe it, guidance that comes from source, from divine love, through your authentic self. And it's never wrong. It's infallible. But sometimes then you might be thinking, well, it's never wrong. Well, I followed my intuition and it didn't work, whatever. It's never wrong because it comes from source, and source is what you are. But what can happen is we can have difficulty receiving it because it can be blocked because of all the layers of conditioning, because perfect well-being exists within us already, which is actually really profound when you think about it. But sometimes, as I say, those layers of conditioning, it's almost like if a trauma happens, say age 7 or something, your energy can get frozen. And it literally can get frozen in your energy field, kind of like a standing wave. And you can use sound. I'm into sound. I use tuning forks and all that to break it up and so on. This dissonance, this discord, so that you come back to harmony. But this is intuition is hugely important for this because it just dispels. If you follow your intuition, you will be on the right path. And you might think, well, what's the difference between my intuition and that chattering voice that we hear, the voice in your head? And what I'd say is the voice of your intuition, well, that chattering voice, it's usually loud and it feels kind of heavy. It feels kind of heavy. But the voice of your intuition is light and loving, and it feels light and expansive. There's such a simple way that you can use to follow your intuition, and that's just be aware of what your body's doing. You can go into meditation if you want, but you can actually be aware of your body. Because if you hold the energy of the question and tune in to your body, you could even like ask, well, if I did make this decision, pretend you've made it, how does your body feel? And if in one of your feeling centers, so your feeling centers would be your solar plexus, your heart, your throat, that's usually where you feel it. If that feels light and expansive, well, then that would usually be the indication for you to move forward with whatever you're questioning. And if it feels heavy and contractive, well, then you might reconsider. And the reason for that is that our true nature is to feel good. So if we're not feeling good, it's like guidance. We don't have to feel, oh no, well, God. It's guidance. We can celebrate it. Like, this is amazing. It doesn't feel good. Oh, great. Now I know why. So I can kind of reconsider. And the other funny thing about it's not funny, I discovered during, I don't know, meditation or something, that intuition and creativity are very much connected. So I realized this. I was like, oh my God, it might sound kind of obvious, but I kind of discovered, came through me that intuition and creativity come from the same place. So to speak, like inspiration in spirit, they come from the same place. So, and the portal is presence. The portal is presence, and you can receive intuitive guidance and tap into your creativity, because we're all intrinsically creative. Like, if anybody's out there going, oh well, I can't draw, I'm not creative, that's utterly erroneous. We're all intrinsically, and I think I can speak, because of all our artistic background. I don't care if you can't draw. You are creative, and you're magnificent, and you can tap into all this amazingness. And the portal is, well, there are several, like nature is a portal, but the portal is presence. So I'll give you an example of creativity. I was looking a while ago at a painting I did, and I hadn't seen it for, I don't know, 25 years or something. Bang. When I saw it, it was like magic. When I looked at it, I could remember everything. I could remember. It was like going back in time or something and being there. I could remember the brushes I used. I remember the atmosphere in the studio. I could remember the weather. I could remember everything inside, the plant of maidenhair fern. I remember the brass candlestick. I remember how I felt in my body. And I was like, whoa. And I realized the reason I could feel all of this was because I painted it in the present moment. And that all there is presence. That's Do you see why it was so? Because if I'd been painting that, worrying about the past, or thinking about, oh, I shouldn't have done that, or what, and in the past, so to speak, I wouldn't have remembered it. Or in the future, worrying about the future, or regretting the past or something. But when you're present, doing anything, like it could be, raising your children or working on your business, whatever it is, when you're present, that's where the magic and the power comes in. Like, I remember doing a painting and I just got the intuition to pick up a pair of knickers, right, panties, and do a painting with them. Now, I was using them as a rag, by the way, in case you're wondering. I did a painting. I dipped it in paint, and I just did this painting, and my hand just kind of moved over, and I was like, whoa, one of the most beautiful paintings I'd ever done. Right in front of me. I barely did it. And it only needed a few little tiny details. That's because I opened to this magic in the present moment, and it flows through you. This is where the magic and the power is. So when we can take our attention away from the past and the future and bring it to this magical moment of now, that's when our lives can blossom and we can actually enjoy our lives. And it goes even further to you than becoming present, because that's a bit about, that's kind of like what I was saying, arm's reach. Got to get this, got to meditate so I can feel the now, got to get something from the now. But you can't get anything from the now because you are the now. You are presence itself. So stop seeking. You can't get anything from it. You are it. So when you just allow this in, life can move from being difficult and heavy and cement like and not wanting to be here. I didn't want to be here. I was homesick. I wasn't going to do anything about it, but in my teens, I remember just gazing up into the sky. I didn't want to be here. And if I can do it, you can do it. I am happy now. I'm living the life that I was born to live. Like I set up a sanctuary for horses and wildlife, and so much has happened. If I can do it, anyone can do it. So I really just want to give encouragement to people and anyone listening. Tap into your intuition, listen to your body, become present, go out in nature. There is so much waiting for you to come through you as you. And it's glorious, and it can be glorious for you.
That's really inspiring to know that we all have access to this beautiful gift and it's not just set aside for a special few.
No, no, it isn't.
Did you have maybe a near-death experience when you were a baby being born that kind of
Um,
did something for you?
you should be laughing. I was thinking, you're probably too young. I wonder about people who nearly died at birth. You're probably too young, but there was this film that popped into my mind called Young Frankenstein, and with Gene Wilder, and there was this scene in it where he said, I think this has been years, he said to his whatever his helper Igor, I think his name was, when he was going into a cell to deal with Frankenstein's monster, and he said, no matter what, I'm going to go in there. You are going to lock the door behind me. I've got this. I'm totally confident. It's fine. No matter what you hear, don't come in. Don't let me out. No matter what. Do you understand? I've got this. I'm totally confident. And he goes in, and about 5 seconds pass, and he just goes, let me out. And he's just, get me out of here. I don't want to know. I'm out. And sometimes I wonder, is that the case with people who nearly die at birth but come back? I mean, I'm saying this with respect. Well, nearly happened to me, so I suppose I can laugh at it. Um, because we don't know. I mean, is it a case of that where it's like, oh my God, this is so harsh? If you're sensitive to energy, and this is fairly harsh now coming down here. Like it takes incredible courage just to be here. Never mind achieving so many things in your life. Just being here takes incredible courage. So I think we have to just love ourselves. I think it's incredibly important to give ourselves so much love. And as I said before, reflect back that love that I imagine a lot of your viewers are energetically sensitive and very loving and very kind and very beautiful people. And very often we spend an awful lot of time projecting that love out, and just turn it around on ourselves and practice some love for ourselves, and allow whatever's arising up and out. This is extremely important. You may not want to, like when I was younger, I couldn't look, there were never any photographs at all of us as children, but I remember finding one, and this is, years ago, but I was still a grown up, and I couldn't look at it because I just didn't want to go there. I could not look at a picture myself at age 4 or something. Didn't want to go there, too much drama. And I did the becoming aware listening practice, and I was guided to, part of the practice is soften to listen, and you become aware if something's arisen. Instead of going away, because some people go to the fridge, or they'll get a glass of Chardonnay, or they'll shop, or they'll scroll, or whatever it is. I would say dare to look. Dare to look if it's safe to do so. If it's not like a huge trauma that you need, professional support for. dare to look and allow it up and out, because I thought before I received this information, if I look there, I will fall into the abyss. And then when I received the guidance to look, and I did, I discovered there was no abyss, and I was safe, and I was always held in loving arms. And this is how it is for anybody who does this. If you have the courage to allow it up and just kind of be with it without judgment. Remember I said be neutral? And then go, I'm not even going to complicate it with that. That's something, by the way, when I was talking about that, you feel into it. You don't even try to intellectualize that. But when you allow it up and you literally allow it out, or it'll be released or integrated. You might have a cry. You might even laugh, because you mightn't have been allowed to laugh when you were younger. You might want to run somatically, something in your body. You might want to run when you were in freeze in the past. Allow your body to do that. 90 seconds, usually, it takes before it's gone. And that particular energy is gone forever. Now, there will be more, like layers of an onion, because we didn't just, have one trauma, big or small. And you do not have to end up doing it every day or something. Don't. If that's happening, I'd look at that, because there can almost be an addiction to that, which is a funny thing to say, but I've noticed that as well. With some people, they become addicted to that. There's no need. You just deal with what's coming up, out, and it clears and clears and clears, and you become lighter and lighter and lighter, and freer and freer and freer. And then the intuition, it leaves space within you for your intuition to be heard, which is glorious. It's all here. You don't have to put it off. You don't have to put it off. You don't have to be scared of the abyss. There is no abyss. So I hope that helps. I hope that comforts somebody listening. Allow it up, allow it out. You're held. You're always held in the present moment. You're always held. There's so much love. There's so much love for you.
You spoke earlier about a vision for humanity that you had. Can you
Mm.
share that with us?
Well, like loads of things are happening now. Like it's all increasing. Literally even within days. And I noticed this is happening for other people as well. Like I started, this is kind of an aside, but not really. There's things opening up for us as a collective. I came in here with a vision for humanity, and I've always felt very secure about it. And things are opening up, and I've noticed they're opening up for others as well. So, for example, a while ago, I started to see sacred geometry. So I had, it would come in my dreams, and then also when I was awake as a vision. Just when you said vision, I thought, oh, I'm going to mention this just in case it's happening to somebody else. Because this hadn't happened to me before, I don't think. And I got this pattern, and I actually know what it was about. I know intrinsically it was connected to beyond duality into oneness, because just the way it was. I must draw it. There's a site called GeoGebra.com where you can draw geometry. It's amazing. So I must draw it, but it's a bit hard to explain. But it was to do with that. And then I thought, oh, wow, that's amazing. It's really intricate. And then a few days later, the same thing came back, except this time it was more multi-dimensional, and it was spinning, and it had a tone to it. So it wasn't evolving, but I think my perception was um, expanding to receive it. So that was amazing. And then the Merkaba, the two pyramids. And this has never happened to me before, because it was like I could close my eyes and see it. So it wasn't in my imagination. You know the way you can imagine things? That's not what it was. It was like in front of my eyes when my eyes were closed, and there was like a vision. And then I saw a grid, like with lights on it, and it was, oh, this is interesting. So this um our consciousness is expanding, and I know it's not just me, it's for everybody. Now, there is a big shakeup happening, and there's a lot of crumbling happening. I say this with respect, and and I honor, the situations that are happening. But this, in the long run, is a profoundly positive thing because, as Buckminster Fuller said, paraphrasing, there's no point keeping the systems we have and trying to change them. We have to create new systems. And I can feel it now. I've all my life had a vision for humanity. I feel like a vision holder. I don't really talk about it much, but I go out every day and I ground myself in the earth and I bring light down for all of humanity, and so that all may be blessed as we go through this and as the earth goes through it. Beyond a shadow of a doubt, there's I just feel kind of emotional thinking about it. I'm just really excited because it's happening now. I've been years, I've been decades, and I didn't realize it until it I until I realized it. That, oh my God, I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting for this. It was kind of in the back of my mind because, as I say, it was kind of isolating. Nobody to talk to about this kind of stuff. And now I can feel it in the energy field because I'm highly perceptive and I can feel people. I I just can feel what's going on. So if people, what I would say is really, really be careful and don't collapse into fear. I know it can be tempting, but fear will never lead you home. Fear will never lead you to safe harbor. It offers false security. Don't rely on it. You think like worry, and people worry because they think what's giving me something, it's giving you nothing. It's a useless emotion. So I would say let that go and be comforted in the truth of who you really are, because you're magnificent, you're divine, like you're a spiritual being. But yes, you are a spiritual being, but still you're having a human experience. So why not enjoy it? We're in a body, okay? There's no need to escape. Like I kind of know what I'm talking about because I didn't really want to be here. I'm not saying I was going to do anything about it, but I don't want to be here for a period of time, my teens. And it was, oh God, it was really hard. It was really hard. Um, and some people think, get me out of here. I better do everything right so I don't have to come back here again. So I better be all loving and all kind. Well, in a way, that's not really being yourself either. I mean, yes, you're loving and kind, but don't restrict yourself so much and do it for a particular reason because you never want to have to come back. Don't do it for that reason. Just be yourself for the right reasons. Um, so yeah, I hope that's somewhat clear. It's definitely happening. You don't need to escape. There's there's nothing to escape from. Enjoy your body, enjoy your senses while you're here. Because one of the things I knew is that I can't even say this experience that we're having. I could say it only lasts a moment. It doesn't even last a moment because there's no time. Like there's no time in that dimension. There's no space. There's no time. It's not even a moment. So this is gone. Boom, gone. Like it's not even the blink of an eye. It's a bit hard to explain. Um, so while you're here, enjoy these bodies and our senses and have fun where you can, and be sad when you feel like being sad, cry when you feel like crying, and be happy when you feel like being happy. Give yourself a break and open to enjoy your life more, is what I'd say, if I may.
Do you feel like you came during this exciting time on Earth to share this beautiful message that you have?
Yeah, I know I did. I know. I was going to say that. I feel really emotional. Yeah, I know I did. I know I did. Yeah. I'm only really realizing this now. It's been so long. I'm so excited because I can't articulate it. It's been so long. As I said, I didn't realize I've been waiting for it. Humanity is blossoming, and I can see the love. I've so much. It's not even faith. It's not even faith. It's just knowing. It's all going to work out. In a way, it already has. All is well, and I know I say that with such respect for the pain that people are going through, but that's not it. Let's not focus on that. Let's honor it, but don't try to escape, and allow. the beauty of what's coming and the beauty that's here already. Let's allow it to blossom in our lives. And because if each one of us does that, that is going to affect humanity. It's all time for individuals now to come together in community. And but this, each of us are like lighting up, lighting up, lighting up, and then there's like a critical mass, and then whoosh, this big light, and then this change. I mean, it's so. I just know. I don't have the words to articulate it. I just know it's really exciting. So, yeah.
I'm excited about it as well. And I think a lot of people are. It's on the minds of so many. And I think there are a lot of people like you that have come to the planet at this time to help usher in this beautiful awakening. Thank you for being a part of it. I appreciate that so much.
Thank you, Tia. You're a part of it as well.
Oh, thank you. It's an honor to be a part of it.
I had an experience a year and a half ago of just quite the most extraordinary flow of synchronicities. This is what happens, by the way, when you start to tune into your intuition. Synchronicity. It's so fun. I can't even, because it's like proof of connection with source. And the human and the mind. We love the bit of proof. And in one, I remember it was a Sunday, and I was listening to something, and that day there was just one after the other where I was, another sense point, I was literally breathless. I was like, so many, so many. What? It was just so many synchronicities happening. Like one of them was, I was listening to this extraordinary mathematician doing this, part of that experience, by the way, when I said everything was there, I was aware of everything. I understand the soul of mathematics, but not the equations on the blackboard. I'm gone. I don't know about those, but I understand the soul of it, and I love it, and I think it's beautiful. And I was listening to him, and he said he did this impossible equation, like point something 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 multiply by divided by, that would your head would just fall off. And he said to the interviewer, do you know the answer? And I gave the answer. And then he gave the answer, and it was the same answer. And it was one after the other of just absolutely extraordinary synchronicities. And then I went into the kitchen, being almost like breathless with all of the. I'm used to it. It's happened all my life, but it's really accelerating now. And I noticed I'd sweep the floor. And I was like, I don't know if I said it out loud, but I kind of said to my guides, really? I've to, after all of that, and now I have to sweep the floor. Is this? I was like, really? And the answer I received was, it's all sacred. This is spiritual life in the 3D. It's not separate. It's not like, well, then we die, and then that's all spiritual, and we're here in the muck. It's all sacred. And I just expanded and felt that light and expansive feeling I'd been referring to before. And I swept the floor with such gratitude, because I knew it's all sacred. Like, our life here is sacred. It's not just something we have to escape. So yeah, just that popped into my mind to share with your audience.
That is such an amazing message because I think as even as spiritual beings, we think of, like you said, the grass is greener on the other side kind of mentality, like, oh, it's so amazing over there and it's all love and bliss, but you're right, it's all spiritual. We can't escape from being a spiritual being.
Who you are. It's who you are. Utterly magnificent. Wrap it around you. Like, it's who you are. We may as well enjoy it. And it's all the mundane, the minutiae of everyday living. It's like we can't see it. It's teeming, it's sparkling. Before I meditated, even before uh I was going to speak with you, just for about 10 minutes. And when I opened my eyes, like, I can see energy anyway. But whoa, the energy I saw was incredible. I mean, it's happening. There's magic everywhere, and anybody can, unless you believe you can't. Oh, I'm not. If you think, oh, I'm not the type of person who sees energy, you're not going to see it. You're so powerful. So open up to the mystery, like the beauty and the mystery that surrounds us in every moment, and your life is going to become so much more fulfilling.
I love your passion. You are doing so much good by sharing this message with everybody.
Thank you. Thank
It's
you.
my honor to have you here to share with myself and my audience. If my audience wanted to reach out to you, how can they find you?
They can find me through my website, which is www.letgoandknow.com, letgoandknow.com. And my email is info@letgoandknow.com.
And if you have one message that you'd hope my viewers would take away from this conversation, what would it be?
You're bigger than any problem you could ever have. Your capacity is vast. And there is a place within you that has never been touched by pain, nor will it ever be touched by pain. And please remember to tap into the beauty and magnificence of who you really are, because there is so much guidance and goodness and beauty waiting for you to come through you as you in every moment of your everyday living.
This has been a wonderful experience for me. Lots of helpful messages for me, and I'm sure my viewers as well. Thank you so much, Marianne, for being my guest. This is an honor.
It's my honor, Tia. You're doing such beautiful work in the world yourself. You are such a beautiful, beautiful person. Thank you so much for everything you're doing in the world. It was a real pleasure to be here with you and your beautiful audience. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. I just want to tell you how much I appreciate you being here and supporting my channel. If you haven't already subscribed, please consider subscribing if you enjoy near-death experiences and other spiritually transformative stories. It helps the algorithm know that this information is useful and push it out to more people. And that's the goal, to get as many people to know that we are eternal spiritual beings and that we never die. Our bodies might die, but our essence will never die. And I want people to live with less fear. Let's all spread the word. Like, comment, subscribe, share, hit that little notification bell so you get all the notifications when my videos post. Thank you for all of your support. I'm sending love to you.